Hey, how about if we go on a road trip? One of you gave me a tip to visit a local fish store, and I love doing that. I've got about 45 videos in my local fish store visit playlist. So it's something I really enjoy. So let's go ahead and hit the road and take a look at a local fish store that one of you actually recommended that I pay a visit to. Hello YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. One of you recommended that I pay a visit to a local fish store, Seas. You can see it right here over my shoulder. And so I went ahead and checked it out. And there wasn't a web page, but you can see here there's a Facebook page you can go and check out. And after checking out the distance from the house, I figured, hey, you know what? 35 miles, that isn't too bad. So I went ahead and took the drive. So let's go inside. Let's take a look at Seas and see what they're all about. First thing that hits you is they're sort of in an industrial park, which you can see around here, and that's not too uncommon for fish stores. I'm finding. I know back in California that was the setup that Nolan had, one of my favorite shops in Southern California, and what he, it's obvious that definitely can save a lot of cost and overhead. And I'm pretty sure that when you're in the fish retail business, you're not dealing with a lot of margin. There's not a lot of fat profit there. So you gotta cut corners where you can with regards to overhead. So this is a bit of an industrial park, but let's go inside and take a look at what they have going on. Here's their hours. If you want to give them a call, if you're in Middle Tennessee, there's the phone number. Let's go on and go inside. Well, the first thing you see when you come in is a very large glass tank and a shelf of products that are certainly for saltwater. And of course, saltwater is the emphasis in this shop and the first love of the owner. His name is James. We'll talk with him in a minute. This tank is going to be set up with rays and sharks. And next time I come here, that should be up and running. Looking forward to seeing that. The owner described what he's going to be doing. It sounded pretty awesome. This setup here has been sold to a customer and will be out of here. So the shop is going to be looking a little bit better by the next time I come back. I plan to do a follow-up probably in about a month or two. Here's a hard coral in a reef tank. Very, very pretty. As I've mentioned before in prior videos, the cameras that are used just simply don't capture, without special filters, don't really capture the colors of corals. But we compensate for that later in the video. I'm going to show you a trick that we actually used over in Aquashella to actually pull out the colors of some of these corals. You have some of the common fish you see, your clowns, of course. Very pretty fish. I love those chocolate brown clowns with that white face. Very pretty. Look at the sort of pitchfork tail on this guy with that orange-yellow face. Very unusual shape. Beautiful color. Some more clowns in here, along with some yellow angelfish. And you know I'm a freshwater guy, but I'll be the first one to admit that when it comes to shape and color, you really can't beat saltwater. I mean, look at these guys. Very, very pretty. Incredible shapes, incredible colors. You've got to ask yourself, how would something like this even evolve? One of my favorite fish, the clown trigger, coming in at about $160. Pretty rare. Not sure if that's a good price on this fish or not. They surely, they're amazing looking fish. Like some crazy paint job. Like a pair of pajamas. He also has an emperor angel in there that's very impressive. There's some vortex, some high-end wave makers there, some live rock, some substrate that's saltwater specific, as well as some saltwater, some water for saltwater tanks in containers. Here's the lionfish, the ever popular lionfish. They can give you quite a sting. Unfortunately, they've become a bit of an invasive species off the coast of California and Florida. They're even offering bounties for people that kill them. Don't ever release them into the ocean. Look at that guy. Great shape and color. These are leather jacket filefish. Never seen anything like that. And look at this fish. Looks like an Easter egg. Very, very pretty. Got some soft corals in this tank. Look at the black and white with the orange faces. Very unusual. The behavior and shape is a lot like the clownfish, perhaps a variety of a clownfish. In the very back of the shop, you run into the freshwater displays. I was very impressed by the quality of the water, and also the actual health of the plants and fish. Everything was very, very healthy and vibrant. But I was a bit blown away by the variety and overall sort of lushness of the plants. I was very surprised to find out from the owner that he wasn't dosing. He wasn't using any CO2. These plants are kept in this condition with just good water quality. I was very surprised, which means that if you take it home and you don't have a CO2 kit, these plants are gonna do better, because it's not like you're moving them now into an environment where they're being denied CO2. Get some tetras here in with the plants. Love the shape of that plant there on the left. Look at these colors, these pinks. You'll see some pink plants, you'll see some purple ones. His freshwater stock of fish seemed a bit low to me, but the fish that he did have all appeared to be quite healthy, active, swimming around, good color, good shape. I didn't really see any sick fish. I didn't really see any melting plants. Everything was pretty much looking good. Some more little tetras and community fish. Yeah, at some point I'm going to start a community tank with a lot of plants and try and make it into a low maintenance setup where the plants, the catfish and the plecos and the snails are doing most of the work. That's a project I have definitely in mind for the future. After I get that 210-gallon running, that'll be my next project. Look at this guy. This is a locally bred. Apparently he buys them from a breeder here locally. He buys his blue Ocharas. I just thought this guy was beautiful. The blue and the red fringe on the dorsal, very, very pretty. These little yellow guys are nice, huh? Buenos Aires tetras and cherry leaves. Don't see any angels in there. His freshwater stock was a bit low. I'm sure it's going to be replenished pretty soon. I mean, he even had apistos noted on one of the tanks, but I didn't see any apistos in here or anywhere really. Some of the fish were hiding. I mean, one of the things with a heavily planted tank is the fish go and they go out of sight when someone walks by. Look at this reddish and purple plant. Very, very pretty. Again, if I have a planted tank, I wouldn't want it to be just all green. I'd love to have these different colors at work. Notice how lush that is. Nothing seems to be dying, or you don't have plants that are melting. There was an emperor pleco in here. See, I mean, just darted behind the heater there. Otherwise, his stock of cichlids was very, very low. He had a few Mabuna. In a lot of places, you'll see that mixed Mabuna tank for just a flat price, without really identifying what you're getting. But very often you'll see yellow labs. That's a very common fish. Also a yellow tail lab, or a yellow tail Mabuna. I was very impressed with that emperor pleco and the blue Ochart. And I think I'm going to be circling back around and adding this guy here. Look at the little scissor tail on him and the stripes and how they change direction on the head. Very, very pretty. I think I'll take that guy home with me. He had a couple of them, but this one I think I like the most. We'll come back and catch him in a second. And I think I'll take this guy home too. Just a very pretty fish. Seemed pretty cool, pretty mellow, interacting at the front glass, not chasing anybody. Also at the back of the shop, he had some custom-made stands. I think those were made locally. Those are like sliding barn doors that give you really easy access using that V2 shadow system, which I'm going to be getting with the custom tank that's being delivered next week. You can see here, that's about $2,100 bucks. By the time you get the sump in there and your pumps and lights, you're going to be up around $3,000 before you even start adding fish. So not an inexpensive system. He had several of these big coral setups, but like I mentioned a minute ago, a little hard to kind of see the color with a normal camera. But let's talk to James about the shop. So how long has Seven Seas been around?
We've been here for about 4 years.
4 years now. Mm-hmm. And are you personally like a saltwater guy, or?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are.
I've been for over 15 years now.
15, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And corals, reef tanks, everything?
All of it.
All of it.
Yes, sir.
Very, very nice.
Started with a 55-gallon, just like most people 15 years ago, and just keeps going and going.
Do you have multi-tank syndrome?
Yes, sir.
Ended up in a shop.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Okay, very, very good. And I noticed you've got the emphasis obviously seems to be corals and salt, but you've got some very nice freshwater plants.
Thank you.
And some very nice freshwater.
We were saltwater exclusive for most of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
In the last 3 to 4 months, we started doing more freshwater, integrating that. So the saltwater system's still growing. We have plans for a discus display and some other things coming along. It's
nice.
just, we're going to get there, I'd say, within the next few months.
Very cool.
We, just like with the saltwater, we emphasize corals and the full ecosystem. It's not just pushing fish out the door. We want to make sure we're doing the plants and everything else too for freshwater people as well.
Your plants are really healthy. Are you using CO2 or just?
Not currently.
No,
we just keep the water quality as we can, keep changing it out, and where we get our plants from, they're good shape as well, so that helps out.
Real nice.
Yes, sir.
Very cool, man. I like the shop.
Thank you. We have plans for a full planet tank and all kinds of stuff as well, so we'll get to the CO2 and we'll get to everything.
Well, I want to come back when you get your discus tank set up.
Please do. Yes, sir.
Very, very good. Now, if you happen to have watched one of my Aquashella walkthrough videos from the Aquashella fish keeping show over in Orlando, Florida, you'll remember that when you go in the show, they'd give you glasses like these. These glasses are designed to block a certain spectrum of light so that you can actually see the colors of the coral. So it kind of makes the colors really pop. And take a look at what the corals look like when I put that pair of glasses in front of the camera. This is closer to what I was seeing with the naked eye. For some reason, these corals, I don't know why, I believe it has something to do with the blue spectrum, but these glasses block that and let you really see the colors. So we were able to do that. We went back to go catch some of the fish, and the emperor pleco was a little bit hard to get a hold of. The blue Ochart was pretty easy to catch. We got him right in the bag right away, but the emperor we had to coax quite a bit and sort of negotiate with him to be able to get him to eventually agree to go home with me. But the fellow here who worked in the shop, very nice young man. I enjoyed speaking with him quite a bit. I sped this up a little bit for you. He had some sort of technique of working them. Whoa! I'll go hide in this white thing. Oh, it's a net. Very cool. So I was just about to leave, and they said, you gotta check out the pond. So I came out to the back. Check this out. This is really pretty. These guys are really healthy. Do you have fish in here with it?
There's probably a few koi and assorted goldfish in there that aren't ready for sale. Just kind of.
I'll provide some of the waste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's some larger koi in here, but the water's been pretty green lately.
I imagine the wintertime you take all this and bring it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see some fish moving around there.
There's a big one.
Look at that. You ever get cranes?
That's why we got these.
You get the raccoons and the cranes coming in. Yeah.
Yeah,
they think it's a buffet.
We used to, but this has actually been doing pretty good at keeping everyone out.
Now this is really smart. So you have a filtration system that, like an aquaponic system that just circulates through the plants. Now, are you running also some filtration media?
Not really. A lot of these have gravel in the bottom, in the bases of them, so that kind of acts as like your media filter, your biological filtration. But
Okay.
you know, in regards to carbon or anything, not really.
So a pond filtering a pond.
Pretty much.
Very, very cool.
It's the same in the freshwater tanks. I don't really have carbon in most of those filters. It's mainly just those marine pure bioballs.
Oh, Marine Pure is good stuff. These are just your basic tubs you can buy at Home Depot. Boy, look at that yellow flower.
They act as like air bubbles.
The lotuses?
Yeah.
Well, apparently the submerged stem of a lotus plant produces oxygen. Look at that. I was not aware that that was a thing. Beautiful flower. It's time to head home. It was actually about 100 degrees. It had cooled down to about 85 by the time I actually got to my doorstep. So it looks like it's a little cooler where I live than where this shop was at. So I made the drive home, got the fish acclimated, and as you can see here, the little Emperor Pleco kind of cruising around and checking out his new digs. The blue Ochart seems to be acclimating well. Just a beautiful fish. He got nipped on a little bit by a redfin borley, which I then took out of the quarantine tank. But you can see he's just a very pretty fish. Thank you so much for going along on this trip with me, and if you liked what you saw, I hope you consider subscribing and hitting that bell, letting YouTube know that there is something good going on here, so they recommend the channel to other fish keepers like you and me. And I hope to see you this coming Saturday. Every Saturday we do a cichlids and coffee live stream, and it's at 11 a.m. Central. That's 9 a.m. Pacific or noon Eastern, and we get into some great conversations on fish keeping, filtration, water quality, fish profiles, just everything you can think of for all types of fish, not just cichlids, of course. So I hope to see you there. It's a lot of fun with a great group of people. And if you'd like to, you can follow also on Facebook at Ben_O_Cichlid. Again, some great fish keepers willing to help. And if you'd like to support the channel, consider using my Amazon link to get to Amazon for fish products or anything you might like. And also my Teespring or Spring site available below every one of my videos. If you want some behind the scenes pictures and videos, check out my Instagram at ben.o.cichlid. Thank you so much, my friends, for going on this trip with me. You really do rock. I really do mean that. Thank you, and see you next time.